Rosie O'Donnell is an accomplished actor, comedian, and TV host, but she's also experienced her fair share of challenges. From childhood loss to major health scares, here's what she's had to overcome. Rosie O'Donnell has been no stranger to tragedy, and it started young. O'Donnell experienced a devastating loss at just 10 years old when her mother died of breast cancer. Her mom, Roseanne Teresa Martha O'Donnell, was only 39 when she succumbed to the illness on St. Patrick's Day in 1973. O'Donnell told People magazine, "I remember looking in the mirror and saying, nothing bad can happen today because it's good luck for the Irish. And then the worst thing happened that day." After the death of her mother, she and her 4 siblings were left in the care of their father, who O'Donnell said was a troubled man.
He had his own issues and demons. He had a very tough childhood, an alcoholic, abusive father.
But the abuse was much darker than just a stressed man lashing out, with O'Donnell later alleging that sexual abuse took place, even before her mother passed away.
There are some unforgivable things. I think that as a child, the statute of limitations, I think, has to wear off.
She elaborated on her story in the 2019 book Ladies Who Punch, the explosive inside story of The View, written by Ramin Satuda. O'Donnell told Satuda, "It started very young, and then when my mother died, it sort of ended in a weird way, because then he was with these 5 children to take care of." She went on to express that she didn't like talking about it, but the abuse deeply affected her, telling Satuda, "Any child who is put in that position, especially by someone in the family, you feel completely powerless and stuck, because the person you would tell is the person doing it." In 2000, Rosie O'Donnell sustained a painful injury when she accidentally cut a tendon in her hand while using a knife to remove a price tag from a fishing pole. Unfortunately, the injury was serious enough to require 3 surgeries, and O'Donnell contracted a dangerous staph infection during her 3rd surgery. The infection got to a point where doctors considered amputation when it wasn't responding to treatment. O'Donnell recounted her terrifying experience when she returned to The View after taking time off to heal, revealing that she thought she was going to die from the infection. O'Donnell said on the show, "I thought, if you're very famous and they can't stop your pain, you're in trouble. In my mind, I was a little bit, creating my own funeral service." Thankfully, O'Donnell made a full recovery, but even after returning to her hosting duties, she still needed to complete 6 weeks' worth of antibiotics until she was out of the woods. In 2006, Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump got into a public back and forth after O'Donnell criticized him for sticking up for that year's Miss USA winner, who was accused of underage drinking and substance use. Trump owned the competition at the time and expressed that Miss USA, Tara Conner, would be given a second chance. O'Donnell called Trump out on The View.
He annoys me on a multitude of levels. He's the moral authority. Left the first wife, had an affair. Left the second wife, had an affair.
Trump took issue with O'Donnell's remarks and threatened to sue her, insulting her in multiple interviews.
Her girlfriend cannot be happy. You look at that mess that she's got to look at every night.
The feud continued as Trump would not let up on O'Donnell. In 2011, when she announced her engagement to Michelle Rounds, Trump posted on X, "I feel sorry for Rosie's new partner in love, whose parents are devastated at the thought of their daughter being with Rosie. A true loser." The experience took a toll on O'Donnell, who told People, "Probably the Trump stuff was the most bullying I ever experienced in my life, including as a child. It was national, and it was sanctioned societally." Rosie O'Donnell lent her perspective to The View as a co-host from 2006 until 2007, and again in 2014. While O'Donnell seemed like a great fit for the show with her strong opinions and comedic background, her time as a co-host was marred by tensions with several of her co-stars. O'Donnell famously feuded with The View co-host Elizabeth Hasselbeck, culminating in an on-air argument in 2007 that lasted more than 5 minutes straight. O'Donnell confronted Hasselbeck, an outspoken conservative, about her stance on the U.S. military in its fight against Iraq.
"The enemy are not innocent."
Iraq didn't attack us!
O'Donnell, who is a month away from her departure from the show, asked ABC to let her out of her contract early following the fight. But Hasselbeck wasn't the only one O'Donnell butted heads with while on The View. Earlier in 2007, O'Donnell was shocked to find out that The View star Barbara Walters had called Donald Trump to apologize for O'Donnell's behavior. O'Donnell confronted Walters in the makeup room right before a show, telling her, "I thought we had something real and something different than the way you've been treating me." In 2012, Rosie O'Donnell, who was 50 years old at the time, experienced symptoms she didn't associate with a cardiac event, such as sore arms and fatigue. She even Googled signs of a heart attack in women, noting that she had a few but went about her business for the night. It wasn't until 2 days later that O'Donnell went to the doctor at the urging of her family, and it turned out she was suffering a massive heart attack. The type of heart attack O'Donnell experienced is known as a widowmaker, which involved complete blockage of her left descending artery. Speaking on the best podcast ever with Raven and Miranda, O'Donnell said, "I was like, wait, what? I couldn't believe it. And then I came to find out that the symptoms for a woman having a heart attack are very different than the symptoms for men having heart attacks." O'Donnell considered herself lucky to have survived the ordeal, which included a life-saving surgery to have a stent placed in her heart. Rosie O'Donnell is the mother of 5 children. In 1997, she and her then-wife Kelly Carpenter adopted their second child together, Chelsea O'Donnell, shortly after her birth. As Chelsea grew up, the relationship would prove challenging. In 2015, O'Donnell was frantic when 17-year-old Chelsea went missing from their New York home, calling on the public's help to find her. Chelsea, who at the time was dealing with mental health issues, was found safe, but soon after, she made the choice to live with her birth mother in Wisconsin. Chelsea later told Inside Edition that she and Rosie had always had problems.
Growing up, I never really got along with her.
O'Donnell and Chelsea were estranged until Chelsea gave birth to her first child in 2018. O'Donnell said on the talk, "She's doing better now, and we're both communicating with each other." Chelsea went on to give birth to 3 more children, but motherhood did not set her on a better path. In September 2024, she was arrested and charged with drug possession and felony child neglect. And just 2 months later, she was charged with several more felony offenses, including possession of methamphetamine. O'Donnell took to Instagram to share the news of her daughter's latest arrest, perhaps in an attempt to get ahead of the rumors, writing in her caption, "We all hope she is able to get the help she needs to turn her life around." O'Donnell reportedly removed her daughter from her $80 million will, and Chelsea petitioned to have her last name changed from O'Donnell to her birth mother's maiden name. In September 2017, Rosie O'Donnell's ex-wife, Michelle Rounds, was found dead of an apparent suicide. O'Donnell and Rounds were married in 2012 and parted ways in 2014. Their divorce was finalized in March 2016, following a custody battle over their child Clay. O'Donnell spoke about her ex-wife in an interview with Extra during the premiere of her Showtime series SMILF, her first time appearing in public since Rounds' passing. O'Donnell referred to Rounds' death as tragic and revealed that Rounds had previously attempted to take her own life a few years prior. Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen DeGeneres were once good friends, as they were both female comedians who rose to fame around the same time, and both came out as gay during a period when doing so was still considered very controversial. O'Donnell invited DeGeneres on her talk show in 1996, introducing her as "my buddy." The two were clearly friendly and shared a joke about being Lebanese, a wink to the fact that DeGeneres was about to come out as a lesbian on her sitcom Ellen.
We do find out that the character is Lebanese, and Lebanese, yeah.
But O'Donnell and DeGeneres did not remain close, which according to O'Donnell was due in part to the media attention surrounding DeGeneres coming out. O'Donnell told The Hollywood Reporter, "It became a strange, there can't be 2 lesbians in this town kind of thing. Then we each had success and went separate ways. What seemed to be a story of 2 friends having grown apart became something more hurtful." O'Donnell revealed on Watch What Happens Live in 2022 that DeGeneres told Larry King the two didn't even know each other.
Ellen said, and I'm quoting, "I don't know, Rosie, we're not friends." And then it hurt my feelings like a baby, and I never really got over it.
O'Donnell told The Hollywood Reporter that DeGeneres later texted her an apology, saying she didn't remember having said it, but the damage had already been done. She said in the interview, "I have a picture of her holding my then infant son, Parker. I know her mother. I knew her for so many years. It just felt like I don't trust this person to be in my world." Clay O'Donnell is Rosie O'Donnell's youngest child, whom she adopted with her late ex-wife, Michelle Rounds, in 2013. Clay, who is non-binary, was diagnosed with autism when they were 2 years old, and O'Donnell has been nothing but supportive, telling people, "I have told them from the start that autism is their superpower." But O'Donnell revealed in 2025 that she and Clay went through some rough times, living in isolation as Clay refused to leave the house. O'Donnell told people they would come home from school and not want a play date. It was me and Clay, and it got very isolating and very lonely. Things took an even more upsetting turn when O'Donnell noticed something strange in Clay's artwork. She said in the interview, "Clay's drawings were getting darker, and some of their thoughts were scaring me. Some of their pictures had bloody knives and talk of violence." Thankfully, O'Donnell sought help from Guide Dogs of America, a program that pairs service dogs with families of autistic children, and soon brought home a black lab named Kuma. Kuma's presence in the home was life-changing for the comedian and Clay, who was suddenly excited to do things like go to the grocery store as long as Kuma was along for the ride. Not only was Clay able to leave the house, they were able to leave the country, as O'Donnell and Clay relocated to Ireland after Trump became president again in 2025.
So it's really to protect my 12-year-old that I knew I had to come.
In February 2025, the actor Michelle Trachtenberg died at the age of 39. Trachtenberg, who charmed audiences while appearing in series such as The Adventures of Pete and Pete, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Gossip Girl, made her big screen debut at age 10, starring alongside Rosie O'Donnell in the 1996 film Harriet the Spy. Trachtenberg appeared on The Rosie O'Donnell Show in 1996, and it was clear that she and O'Donnell had a very sweet relationship.
Even before that I knew you were going to be Gully in this movie, you were one of my favorite actresses.
O'Donnell was devastated by the loss of the young actor, whose death was a result of complications from diabetes. Although it had been decades since the two appeared together on screen, it seemed as though they had been in touch in the time leading up to Trachtenberg's passing. O'Donnell told People, "She struggled the last few years.